My female 22, stepbrother Johnny, 27, struggled with his inability to find a job. He has a college degree but couldn't find jobs available in his field. He hates the city we live in and always says it's corrupt and constantly comments on the news and cusses out the mayor and the people in charge of employment. He thinks he's been wronged by everyone because he worked hard for his degree and wasted years without a job in his field. Because of his financial struggles, he moved in with me. I pay rent, so I'd sometimes have friends over to study together for our exams. Unfortunately, he'd sometimes sit with us and say stuff like, "Don't bother, you won't find a job once you graduate," or "Move out of this dump and go look for a job elsewhere." It's so not motivating, so I try to stay away from his negativity, although I get he's depressed and disappointed. I talk to my friends in the living room about making sure to show up to the test with our admit cards. Otherwise, we won't be allowed into the test hall. Johnny bragged about how he managed to enter the test hall back when he was a student without an admit card, and no one gave him crap about it. I said that can't be true because they don't ever let anyone enter the test hall without it. He got upset, and I basically said he was lying in front of my friends and excused himself to the bathroom. I had an exam the next day. I woke up, got ready, made sure I had my admit card, and then went to the university. I was met with the inspector, who asked for my admit card. I searched my backpack and couldn't find it. Searched twice and started freaking out. Keep thinking I must have dropped it and begged him to let me into the test hall as the exam started, but he refused and had me wait outside for half an hour. It was over. My exam was missed and he took me to the office. I received a text from Johnny asking if I could enter the hall without my admit card and whether he was right. I knew he took it to prove a point. I returned to the apartment and had a screaming match with him, then told him to leave. He said he really thought they'd let me in and blamed them, saying, "See, they're awful." He apologized profoundly, but I had him leave because he caused me to miss my exam. He talked to my friends to get me to let him come back since he lives in his car now, but I refused to let him return. Am I the idiot? You are not the idiot. He is. So he screwed you over your exam because he's a bitter, petty person? I hope there is some way for this to be rectified for you. But seriously, he is such an idiot. No, he can stay in his car. Who is to say what other trouble he will cause? He can drive to a town and he can get a job there. I think she's not in the U.S. And no, she won't be accommodated if it's the final exam of 10th class or 12th class, or a final undergraduate exam. She'll have to take up supplementary exams, which will be a sore spot on her resume. Not many will hire you if you've written a supplementary exam because it's considered to be for failures. Her stepbrother basically ruined her career. OP, it's time to text with your brother to get a written admittance that he took your card intentionally and sabotaged your test. Maybe the school will be lenient and allow you to take the test because of a family sabotaging you. Maybe not. However, the written admittance can also be used on your resume to explain why you had to take the supplementary exams instead of taking the regular one and passing. If those tests are for failures, you should have proof that you didn't fail the test. Your stepbrother sabotaged your ability to even take it. You are not the idiot. He is no longer welcome in your home. You know, the home that you are paying for? The home you allowed him to share out of your generosity and compassion. What an idiot. Being depressed and anxious is not a free pass to be an idiot, ever. OP, he's a bum who loves to make everything around him negative. He hates the city so much, then move. He can't afford it because he doesn't have a job in his field? Save up by getting one out of his field while living rent-free. This guy lives to drag others down. Good on you for kicking out that dirtbag. Make sure you change the locks and keep him away. If your friends give him crap, tell them they can house him. I grow indoor plants and keep them around the house, whether by the kitchen window or out on the front porch. I have various plants like lily, aloe vera, also flowers, and they all require care and attention. It's a hobby of mine, and because I don't own enough space, I just stick to indoor planting. I have a nearly adult stepson, Sean, who likes to pull all kinds of pranks and has been trying some weird pranks on me lately. I don't mind it as long as he's happy, and because nothing is too serious, just hiding my farming tools or replacing them with damaged ones. but he just keeps messing around like any other kid. Days ago, he posted a Facebook video of him spraying cold water on me when I was sleeping. It was embarrassing since he shared it with family. I got mad at him and had him deleted, despite him begging me to let him keep it. He kept sulking afterward and had his mom try to convince me to let him repost the video, but I thought that was a crazy request. Then Sean suddenly became friendly and asked if he could water my plants. I was glad he asked and gave him the watering can and told him to start with the plants in the kitchen. He was gone for a few minutes. Then he got back and started watering all the plants in the house. Later in the evening, I was cleaning my tools and there was a weird smell coming from the watering can. It smelled like bleach. I freaked out and checked my plants, and the same smell was coming from them. I confronted Sean and asked what he watered the plants with. He acted dumb and said nothing, but I found a bottle of bleach in his room, which made me lose my temper. He admitted watering my plants with bleach to get back at me for making him remove the video. I was mortified. I immediately canceled the weekend trip to the national park that he was looking forward to. He started crying, saying it was too much, and he made a mistake in a moment of clouded judgment. I refused to discuss it. My wife feels terrible. Sean hasn't been eating well since I canceled the trip, but he damaged my plants and caused me hurt and pain. She thinks an apology was enough. He's a kid and made a mistake. She wanted me to let it go, but I said canceling the trip is his official punishment, period. I got called unreasonable and stubborn for this. I don't respect her as a parent too, and said taking away the only thing he cares about the most and looks forward to the most reeks of mistreatment. Sean has this mentality that if he admits to doing something wrong, then he'll be forgiven. This isn't how it should be, but his mother thinks admitting to it and apologizing should be the end of it. Am I the idiot here? Not the idiot. That seems like a reasonable punishment for a horrible, hateful act. My wife feels bad that Sean hasn't been eating well since I canceled the trip. Aw, is the little brat sad because his actions have consequences? He'll get over it. Your wife is allowing this nonsense, and someone needs to stop it. Not the idiot, WTF. He goes on a Florida death rampage because of a video being taken down. Sean purposely destroyed the living things that belong to you just to hurt you. Not only would I take away the trip, but there would be more punishment coming. I'm not sure what, but it would be in line with how long it takes to collect and regrow all the varieties you had. I don't know how you could even trust him in your house again. The wife wanted him to allow her son to repost an embarrassing video of him, and when he says no and stepson ruins his plants, she says an apology is enough? Plus all the other pranks? It sounds like you've been putting up with his antics for a while now. OP, not the idiot for finally putting your foot down. Don't give in, or the next little prank might be worse. You need to reevaluate your relationship with your wife and son. It doesn't sound like either of them has any respect for you or your property. To start, I have 8 other siblings, 9 of us in total. 2 of my brothers are biological, and the rest are foster siblings, but we're all very close. To me, they're my real family, so I don't really introduce them as anything other than my brothers and sisters. I'm getting married in a few months, and all my brothers will be my groomsmen, while sisters were asked by my fiancé to be her bridesmaids. My fiancé's sister, Kate, is someone we don't talk too much, but still, her parents convinced her to let Kate be a part of it. Recently, our families met up for a barbecue at our place, and this is the first time her family meets mine. Well, except her parents since they couldn't make it. I introduced my siblings to everyone. At some point when we were talking to her sister, she says, "Your parents seriously had 9 kids?" She said it with so much disgust. She seemed really mad about it. I told her, yes. And Kate goes about how she thinks my parents were selfish and reckless for never figuring out how to use a condom and don't know how stupid they are for having so many kids when there's already overpopulation. Part of me found it funny, but also very annoyed for thinking that's something she even thought was okay to say about people she just met. So I told her they were foster parents. Only 2 of my brothers are biologically related. Not that it's any of her business to critique other people's lives. She looked embarrassed and apologized, but then she got mad. Kate says, well, that's something I could have mentioned to avoid her saying the wrong thing. And I told her, how about next time she just doesn't say anything and avoid looking like an idiot? My fiance laughed a little, but Kate got mad. She walked off and made a comment to my fiance's other sister and cousin about what I said. They know the context, but still think I was an idiot because Kate was just bringing awareness to what she thought was something bad, and it wasn't necessary to call her names. She doesn't want to talk to me now, which doesn't bother me, but I wonder, was I the idiot at all for doing that? Kate was just bringing awareness to what she thought was something bad? Who asked her? Your parents don't need her permission. Also, if they were biological, what are you supposed to do? Shove them all back up your mother? Get back in there, Linda. Kate says you don't deserve to be alive. Not the idiot. She should be thankful she just looks like an idiot for her views, rather than seriously offending people because she doesn't agree with the idea of a couple having multiple biological children. Not her life to judge. She was silly to assume anything. Not the idiot. She insulted your family to your face and then got sad that you said something back to her in response. You were far more polite than I would have been in your shoes. If she doesn't want people saying mean things to her, maybe she shouldn't walk up to people and talk crap about their families. You were very much in line here. You're so incredibly not the idiot. If she didn't want to be treated rudely, she shouldn't have treated you rudely. Your family is none of her business. Plus, what was she expecting her comments to accomplish? It's not like her disapproval is gonna Thanos snap half your family away. All it would do is make you feel unnecessarily bad about something you had no say in and cannot change. Maybe she should learn to keep her mouth shut instead of having her autopilot be set to judge and offend. I, 23 female, had a baby girl with my boyfriend, 30 male. She's a toddler now and hasn't met her dad yet. Back then when I got pregnant, my ex packed up because he got a job offer outside the States. He wanted me to go with him, but I was only 19, pregnant, and uncertain of my future. Leaving the only home I knew along with my family scared me because I wasn't sure of anything, so I refused. We fought back and forth for a while until he ended up leaving alone. He's not a deadbeat though, he pays child support. His family, the one here, is involved with our daughter, and she knows that her dad is out there somewhere, but she hasn't talked to him or met him. We didn't talk for a while. His mother came with me to the appointments, and she was the one sharing the news or the pics with him. We only started talking when I gave birth, because I was the one with the baby. Even then, the convos were about what our daughter needed, photos and videos, and random questions about ourselves. I used to invite him to the parties, the significant moments, and get him to talk to her, but he always refused and said some dumb excuse. Eventually, I stopped trying when she was about to turn 2 and accepted the kind of relationship he wanted to have. My daughter's birthday will be this Friday, and we are planning a small birthday party at our house, just family. My ex always sends me money and tells me what he wants me to get for her, but this time, he told me that he was preparing to come and give it himself. Finally, I told him no, that he can't just appear at her birthday and confuse her just because he was ready, that if he wanted to meet her, it was okay. We could arrange something for the weekend, and I could tell her in advance that he was coming. Appearing at her birthday wouldn't get the result he expected. She believes that he doesn't want anything to do with her because he never dares to even call her. She'll be confused and uncomfortable on a day that's supposed to be special. He told me that it was his daughter too, and that he should be able to spend the day with her. And I said that sure, he can be here the next one when she's already adjusted to him. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. You are right that her birthday party is not an appropriate space to meet him. He needs to understand that her needs and wants and feelings come before him, and his insistence that he attends shows he doesn't. I don't know if he's expecting the running through a meadow and jumping into each other's arms reunion cliche, but this is not a reunion. Kids are more likely to be afraid of the stranger than warm and welcoming to him. Exactly. What is he going to do when the toddler who has no idea who he is basically just ignores him? Is he going to make a scene or sulk? Will he blame OP for alienating his child? Or will he actually be a mature adult and understand that this relationship will take a lot of time and a high-pressure event isn't the best time to introduce yourself to your child? At that age, kids basically ignore adults at birthday parties, barring presents and cakes. She's going to want to play with the other kids there, or adults she knows, and won't care about some random guy she's never met before. Not the idiot. A child is not a toy, and you can't just stay away for 4 years and expect everything to be fine, that you'll be allowed to drop in whenever you please. Don't let your ex make this about him. He left. He ignored the kid. And your request is totally reasonable. You are not keeping him away from her. He did that to himself. He probably doesn't even really want to see the kid. Feels like he just met a new woman and didn't want to be seen as a deadbeat who abandoned his daughter. Oh, you have a daughter and pay child support. Nice. Responsible. What's your daughter like? What's her favorite food? Oh, she doesn't know what you look like? Geez, I guess you might do that to any kids we were to have. Not the idiot, OP. Make him go through the court system. Over the weekend, I, 27 female, went over to my friend's 28 male little get-together. There were only like 10 people total. At one point, I stepped outside to smoke and just be alone, and a dude, 30s, that I just met the same night also comes out. We were chatting, trying to be quiet as to not disturb the neighbors since, at this point, it was 1 a.m. But then he just starts laying it on me, talking about how much his life sucks and that it's good to be around people. I was just stuck awkwardly listening to him and giving him generic answers like, yeah, that sucks, or things along those lines. But he kept at it, then started saying creepy stuff like, I hadn't been with a woman in 5 years, and even told me his ex ended a pregnancy because she didn't want to have his baby? Like, bruh, I don't need to know this info. I finally finished my smoke and got up and said I was going back inside. He tried to stop me and said, I thought we were having a nice conversation. Kinda hard to talk inside. And I looked at him and said, dude, I'm not a therapist. I just came out to see my friend, the host. Like, I get you're having a rough go, but honestly, I kinda see why girls don't want to be around you if this is what you talk about on the first meeting. Nice meeting you, though. And then I went inside. He never came back in, so I assumed he just went home. My friend texted me the morning after, saying I shouldn't have said what I said to his friend, since he's apparently really bummed out now and asked for my side of the story. I tell him what was described above, and he still says I shouldn't have told him that, and I didn't have to knock him down a few pegs, since apparently it took my friend a lot of convincing to get the other dude to come out. I wanted some outside perspective here. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. As a female, you know what is best for your safety and security. It sounds like you were getting creepy vibes. You deliberately laid it into him so that there's no misunderstanding that you are not interested in engaging him in any capacity. You may have come out as harsh, but at least he knows where you stand. Women have got to be proactive with their safety. Yeah, it sounds like this guy was going for the angle of getting laid by making a woman pity him. That's pretty lame in itself, but it sounds like he was determined to keep her there until he got somewhere with her. As women, we all know that we need to pay attention if we are getting creepy vibes from a guy. Not the idiot. Your friend gave you the "you should have been nice" lecture. Does he even know how many women find themselves in really terrible situations because of society's expectations that they should be nice, even when facing such idiots? OP, you literally just met him, and he started unloading all of his issues on you? That's entirely unfair for you, especially when he started talking about relationships, saying, I hadn't been with a woman in 5 years. Like, what? Was that in some way a pickup line? Who says that to a woman they just met? Like, what? Exactly. His behavior was cruel. He was manipulating social etiquette to put you into an uncomfortable situation. You refused to put up with that. After humoring him for a while, he needs to learn to treat other people better, even if he's having a tough time with things. You also helped point out that he should be unloading these things with a therapist.